welcome to the Fandom Flux Podcast, episode 41. It's 41, right?
One more than 40. No, 40 was the one he hasn't put up yet.
41.
Yeah. Okay. We're recording this on Friday, so I haven't put up 40 yet.
Friday.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing after we've done recording. Anyway, once again, I'm your host, KCW, and with me we have Zero.
Hi, I'm King of Zero X, and they call me Zero because King is too arrogant in case he has a queen.
You stole my gimmick and you failed at it.
I was gonna steal it a little bit, but then I was gonna change it a little bit, but then I got nervous because everybody's looking at me and I'm blushing on senpai.
How is everyone looking at...
You failed. You're not arrogant. You're not arrogant enough to steal my gimmick.
Right, I wanted to try something new. I'm too tired of not having anything to say. Do you know what it's like to come here every week? And then I'm like, I don't have anything to say.
Usually just say,
Gosh darn it.
Okay, so my audio just dropped out in the middle of that, but I don't mind. So, Slicer is also here.
hello.
And Kenchi.
Hi, I'm Kenchi618, and my hobby is magnets.
Mine too.
You know
I
how
have fucking buckyballs right here. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, fucking magnets. How do they work?
Yeah. I don't actually know. I kind of suck at making things with buckyballs, but, you know, they're cool.
Magnets are nice.
Stick to things. Anyway, so...
Old internet memes aside, we have topics.
This is going to be something. All right, so what are we doing? Start with Slicer.
I haven't done shit.
Okay. Start with Zero.
I wasn't actually done. I was joking.
He's got some stuff left.
Fine.
My PS2 continues to work, so I've just been playing Final Fantasy 12, and I've discovered that I can't play video games anymore without wanting to write things about them. It's been irritating. Like, I can't sleep. It kind of sucks.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
Yeah, aside from that, just preparations for Anime Iowa have been going slow because of the weather. Fuck the weather. There are so many tornadoes. So many.
Iowa.
Yeah.
I lived in Texas for a while, so I can feel your pain. I also lived in Florida and Arkansas, so all around the areas that get tornadoes and whatnot. Sucks.
We don't live around a trailer park, thankfully, so we don't have to... We're not a huge target, but...
Tornado once blew through my town, and I was, like, driving somewhere in town, and I saw just all the houses were, like, wrecked in this one area. And I'm like...
Was that a trailer park?
No, it was an actual, like, neighborhood area, or something like that.
Wow.
It was a little bit out on the edge of town. And I'm like, I'm glad I am not living there. What am I...
So let me get this straight. You lived in Texas, Arkansas, Florida, and now you live in California.
Yeah.
So you lived in really terrible, like, weather areas, and now you live in a really terrible earthquake area.
Yeah. I was actually born in Southern California, so I kind of made a movement around, and that kind of resembles a fish. If you look on the map and you trace it.
Okay.
It's Florida, Arkansas, Texas, California. And it starts at California, too, so you get the little fin from California Northern and California Southern, and then you get the whole, like, fish-type shape. Kind of looks more like a manatee, though. It's kind of fat.
What are you talking about?
Nobody knows.
I once went to town with a map and a pencil. It's fun.
Okay, Slicer, you were saying...
Yeah, that's about it, really.
Oh god, that means... Oh, we'll delay going back to Zero. We'll go to Kenchi. Kenchi.
No.
I haven't done shit. Literally, I have done nothing but recover for the last week from everything I did last week before. I went to work today and yesterday. That's literally the only thing worth talking about that I did. And that's it.
Kenshi,
Yeah.
you have failed to save us from more of Zero's.
I know, and I'm really happy about it.
Well, you could go, Casey.
I could. So, the Steam sale continues to wreck my wallet.
It really has.
I'm pretty okay with it for the most part.
Tell her what you did.
So, Steam summer sale purchases so far. Version 2. Borderlands 2 Game of the Year, plus Ultimate Vault Hunter Pack 2. Dead Rising 3, Dynasty Warriors 8, Game Dev Tycoon, Plague Inc., Speedrunners 4 times, Prison Architect, Uplink, Dragon Age Origins Complete Edition, DuckTales, Fable the Lost Chapters, Sleepy Dogs, Castle Crashers 4 times. You're welcome.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, Darksiders 1 and 2 Complete Edition. Magica 4 times. You're welcome. Every Sonic game on PC.
Yay! Dude,
Tomb Raider.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because they're good. SteamWorld Dig, Beat Hazard, and Long Live the Queen.
I get it, because you're English.
No, that's the name of the game. Yeah, so that's a lot of games.
When are you gonna play all that shit?
I don't know, a lot of it's stuff that I already own on 360, but I don't want to touch my 360 anymore, so I've just bought them again on PC for really cheap, so I'd have them and can play them when I feel like it.
There has to be a word for the kind of person you are.
KCW. It's a word with a hyphen.
Rampant spender?
No, there's got to be a gamer term for it. I'm sure there is.
Hoarder?
No.
Filthy PC gamer?
No.
Are you using a hyphen to make it one word? That's what matters.
I always use hyphens.
Yeah. Hyphens all the time.
Okay, we have a title for this episode. Thank you for that. Making things easy. Yeah. Fandom Flux. Always. Appleways, rather. Always. Always. I can't type shit today. I don't know why. Uses hyphens. Okay. Yeah, so that's a lot of Steam games that I bought. Long Live the Queen is weirdly appealing. Like, right now as we're recording, it's on a flash sale for like £1.70 or something. And it's this weird sort of, the sort of like Civ games where you rule a nation and you have to build it and make everything work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but with an anime bent to it.
Ooh.
And you play as a 14-year-old princess whose mom, the queen, dies, and she is suddenly the queen. So, yeah.
Yeah,
and this is
Lamb Philosophy did that. A play of that. It was interesting.
Yeah. There's a screenshot on the Steam page. It's like a critical failure for flattery. And it's like, you have large breasts. Is there a particular reason you're showing them off? Something like that. And, yeah, I really wanted to play that game, so I bought it.
Why do I feel... if we were a very popular place to go to listen to podcasts, I have a feeling that fan artists would draw KCW as a 14-year-old Japanese girl. Just saying. It's a weird image that popped in my head, and I don't want it.
Well, it's there now.
Yeah.
You clearly
don't have to do much. I am very feminine looking.
Wow.
What?
You're gonna bury yourself.
I'm comfortable with that. It's actually really weird. One time when I was just, out walking, going somewhere, I forget where, 2 guys passed me and one of them turned to the other and said, "Wow, she was hot."
Wow.
Maybe that's what that dude tried to bite you that one time.
To clarify, I did have really long hair at the time, but I also had a rockin' beard.
Why? Why?
So, to this day, this was like 10 years ago or so. I was like 15. Yeah, I facial hair just kind of sprung out of nowhere. Anyway, I still to this day don't know whether to be flattered or insulted or just weirded out. It's maybe all of the above, I guess.
I think it's okay to be disturbed.
Yeah. Other than that, literally nothing has happened to me since Sunday when we recorded the last podcast. So it's been 5 days and I've done nothing. Oh, God damn it, Zero's eager to get back into it. Okay, Zero, what have you done?
All right, so quick announcement. I'm not going to be here to do any podcasts next week because for once I am being taken on a trip. I am going.
Okay.
This is the exact opposite of how I was last week when I was reminded that I'd never get taken on anything. But now I'm going on something.
Is Eeyore gone?
I think he got shot in an alleyway. It was kind of depressing. But you know what? It was a depressing end. He was a depressing guy. He kind of deserved it. He earned it. Anyway, on another note, I am going down to Southern California, going down to the beach for 4th of July. Gonna hang out with all my family that's down there. Gonna sit on the sand and watch fireworks. Should be fun.
Gonna go into the boardwalk and watch bums fuck each other.
Wow,
we don't live in the same area. I don't know if that's what you see, but that's not what I don't.
That was an Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference that nobody got, and I'm sad about it.
I'm sorry, I am not the day man.
I don't watch that show.
You really should.
Neither do I.
No, I really don't. I just know the day man thing.
Damn it, you guys really should.
Okay. Also, this week I hate Mondays a lot. I am reminded by that because I had to work Monday at KFC, and we have new shifts and everything. And I think it's because minimum wage is increasing, so they basically split up the shifts more, so we get less hours. Because screw us, apparently.
Great.
So, yeah, my dad's just like, yeah, that's probably why they're splitting up the shifts more. It's because minimum wage increases next week. So, I was working Monday, and it's slow for basically the entirety of the Monday that I'm working. For the first 3 hours I'm working, I'm only working 5 hours. So the first 3 hours, it's super slow. Nobody's coming in. And I'm like, hey, I can get some stuff done. I can relax about this. And then everything hit the fan. And for the next 2 hours, it's just nonstop. We need more chicken. We need more chicken. We need more chicken. I'm like, it's 4 o'clock. Yeah, that was basically our Monday. It's kind of upsetting. But, 5 o'clock, like 6 o'clock, I was out of there. I was like, all right, bye. You handle everything now. Good? Okay.
That's the way you handle that situation. That's the way I did it.
I did prepare everything for him so he'd be set for the night, but I was just like, I'm not going to stick around. I really don't want to. I have people out there waiting to serve me dinner. It's hamburger night. Gosh darn it.
Oh,
hamburger time.
Also this week, so I did, my group that's been doing D&D, we met on like Wednesday, and I had one of the most awesome sessions I've ever had. It was really fun. One of which involved, okay, so there's, I want your opinion on something. There's this orb that I found underneath this sort of this stage area thing. And it was glowing red, and it had this button on it, which was also glowing red. Now, when you see a big glowing red button, do you slam your hand down against that button, or do you just lightly press it?
You give it to your friend and run.
Yeah, big glowing red orb with a button on it says hand grenade to me.
Well, Casey, you'd be right.
Yeah.
So I slammed my hand down upon it after making sure that my other party members were safely hidden behind a bed. in the far corner of the room, an upturned bed as a shield, basically. And I slam my hand down upon it. And then my DM narrates, everything goes dark. And my immediate response is, I think that was the light switch. I was wrong. It was not the light switch.
How wrong?
It was a grenade that dealt 75 points of damage.
And you have a max health of
66.
Oh, okay.
So you had -9 hit points then?
Actually, technically, 66 when I'm berserk, 61 when I'm normal, but my DM was like, that was too bad of a way to die, so you're not going to die here. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. He's like, I should have put a manual or something somewhere. You were in the quarters of this area. You should have found there should have been a manual.
So he said, why not? You were really, really stupid because you were berserk. So you had 66 hit points at the time, so you were -9 and could be stabilized or something. Right?
Yeah. He's kind of a doormat. I'm not gonna lie. But that's why we love.
Why would you put that there if you weren't gonna actually follow through with whatever it was supposed to do? You knew what you put that there for. You wanted someone to hit that shit and die.
He improv'd it there.
Also,
he intended for us to find something like
why doesn't it have a countdown?
It's supposed to have a countdown.
There is no use for a grenade that explodes instantly.
It's supposed to have a countdown if you push the button lightly.
Yeah, I imagine if you forget to press the button, then you can just chuck it, and the button will hit something, and then it'll just blow up.
If you push the button lightly, you get a countdown. I punched the button. Yeah.
Okay.
Good news is that initiated a prophetic dream sequence with a character that was supposedly, like, I suddenly wake up in an arena, and there's a character that's super awesome in this campaign world, and I had a 1-to-1 fight death match in an arena with him, and I won with 2 HP. So, it was pretty good. I also had a rant about doors and bridges, because they're all made of wood in this area, this one area. And you don't make doors made of wood and lock them in a place that's supposed to be a fortress.
No, because you can just bash them down. It's a video game trope.
Not
that's
generally.
really annoying.
You don't do that. And then I went down a floor, and you know what I saw? One door was, it was a set of double doors. One door was steel. One door was wood. That's just negligence. And my DM made that because I ranted about doors so much.
That's awesome.
Gosh darn it. And there's a freaking wood bridge. And I'm walking across the wood bridge, and there's a rug on it. There's a rug on it. You don't know why there's a rug.
What?
Because shoddy workmanship meant there was a hole in the bridge. So I stepped right in that hole.
Did you fall down the hole?
Yes, but because of a lot of awesome things, my character's a dwarf with wings. Shut up! I got wings from somebody. I stole them.
Dragon Disciple?
It was this character that had this cloak with this enchantment to turn into wings, so I stole it from.
Oh, lame. Dragon Disciples are cooler.
So, I basically got that, and I flew back up, and my party member was like, "Hey, you think I could get that rug?" So I flew down, picked up the rug, and I was like, "There! Fine. Not going back down there." Also, apparently, the rest of my NPC party members, because we've got split into basically all the PCs got split into groups with NPC party members, and like one of them flew up because he's like a little Draculich guy, baby sort of Draculich type thing, chibi, small. So he flew up and he ties this big sort of like shaft that we have to climb up, and he ties the rope off to a lever up there. And I said, "Don't tie the rope off to the lever." He's like, "What? Why not? What's the worst thing ever?" We're like, "Pull the lever." And then he pulls the lever, and the DM narrates, "You hear a large screeching sound." And then an elevator falls down. And crashes and explodes. And then I ranted more about this is why we don't tie ropes to levers. So yeah. basically everything kind of went to crap on certain parts, and my DM made it so the place was designed by the worst architect in the entire world. Because wooden doors. You don't make wooden doors. Like, he had steel doors that were unlocked, but wooden doors that were locked. You don't do that. That makes no sense. And past the set of wooden doors, the steel doors had a padlock on them. Not even locked or barred or anything like that. They're just a padlock. Gosh darn it.
Did the padlock have health, or was it an immortal object?
I just broke it. And I was like, there.
Oh, okay.
Done.
Yeah, it takes some real finagling for a DM to make something immortal. An immortal object. That just doesn't happen in D&D because it ruins the game.
So, yeah. It was a very fun session. The NPC I was with, who was supposed to be a high noble woman, very naive, ends up being, while I was unconscious from being exploded, she killed all the enemies that were trying to come into the room, pinned them to the wall outside with arrows, and then wrote in my blood, "Do not enter."
That doesn't seem very noble, but okay. Pretty badass.
She's actually, might be mentally unhinged. Kind of.
You think?
Her whiz score isn't the highest. So, yeah, she's talking about how, worms are very good and that you can cut them into many different pieces. And, because I was talking about engineering and pipes, and she was like, yeah, I'm scared.
You play weird games.
My character, my PC is with basically two very mentally unhinged women and a guy named Viridian who's very, I understand your pain, bro. So that's basically my sort of separate party from the party. It's interesting. So in hindsight, it's not a good idea to punch grenades. And that's zero
Not
lessons for the
generally,
day.
no.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Unless you punch them and they fly into another guy
Yeah.
and explode. Then it's
That's
awesome.
more of a Borderlands kind of event, though.
It's more of a red versus blue event. That's what happened.
So other than that,
Also a good thing to punch lemons. That was awesome, by the way.
other than that,
Making that video.
No Game No Life ended, and I liked that show a lot. It was very good. It ended in a way that was really interesting, and that foreshadowed a second season pretty heavily.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently the whole thing did very well in Japan. And it's also doing very well here. So, it's looking to be really cool.
Sorry, what were you talking about so I can write it in the link dump?
No
Because
Game
I
No
wasn't paying
Life
attention.
just ended.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a pretty good ending, too.
It was. Very satisfying.
I mean, for No Game No Life, you really have to rely a bit on suspension of disbelief. But
For the protagonist, yeah.
But, it's entertaining. It's fun. Just let yourself have fun with the show. You don't try to overanalyze it.
My only real complaint is it's kind of light levels of thinking it through. There's no possible way that would have worked. I don't know. I get the NPC part, because, I could do that. It's not hard, but, yeah.
Whatever. I honestly don't care. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was cool. I had a blast watching it. Yeah. And I'm done for the week.
Okay, so I guess we're moving on to the recap section. I'm not even going to fucking front anymore. It's just totally the manga recap section.
Yeah, original.
So, Bleach. I like the opening page. Gonna say that up front. It's a good page. With all the good guys in line and
Okay,
stuff.
no, I completely forgot about Bleach because Naruto kind of stole this show this week in a really stupid kind of way.
A little bit, but we're gonna do it Bleach first.
Alright.
And then we're gonna do Naruto in order, because, yeah.
I like how Burnerfinger guy counts to 6. He's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you. I have 5 fingers on one hand. So he's like, that's a good amount of people. And I'm just thinking, can you do burner finger with 2 hands? Because then you can hit all of them. With 6 burner fingers.
Can you just do it in like a machine gun thing? So it's like burner fingering?
Maybe.
God, so many dirty puns to make with his abilities. It's not even funny anymore.
Is it bad that I'm rooting for burner finger
just
guy
easy.
to win?
Yeah. No, that's not bad at all.
'Cause I kind of want him to win.
Yeah.
I like him.
Do you remember his actual name?
No, I don't
You
care
don't.
about
He has
it either.
a name?
Yes,
Do
he
you
has a
remember
name.
anyone's actual name?
I only remember his name. His is the only one I remember.
What is it?
Bosby.
All right, so he's burner finger guy.
Yeah.
We have taken
also Grammy the Brain Boy.
We have taken no effort to actually get any of their names. We've fucking made aliases for all of them. Burner Finger and fucking Imagination Lad.
Yeah.
The only one we actually know by name is Mr. Superstar because his name is fucking Mr. Superstar.
They already did our job for us in that
Yeah.
case.
You literally come up with nicknames for every other Quincy.
Yeah, you know what? At least with the fucking Aronkar, the writer actually tried to come up with a theme for their names. Granted, the theme isn't followed very well, I mean, but they're sort of, kind of, Latin names a little bit. Almost.
Hey, why is burner finger guy using a crossbow and not just burner fingering?
Because
What?
they're Quincy's and they use arrows.
He
They're
suddenly
supposed
pulls
to.
out a crossbow and he's like, "I'll use this crossbow instead." I'm like, "There's 6 of them. You've got 10 fingers, 20
8.
if you counted." Oh.
We don't know if he can do burner thumb yet.
Oh. True. And then you've got even more if you count your toes. If you can do it with your toes. Then it wouldn't be burner finger, it would be burner toe. And that would be kind of, I don't know.
Do you think he has burner thumbs up and burner thumbs down?
One to attack people
Maybe.
below him, one to attack people above him.
Hmm.
That sounds actually pretty awesome.
A little bit,
So-
actually.
So yeah, burner finger guy's like, "Let's go, everybody. We're gonna go beat up the Shinigami. And look, we're wearing white, and look, they're wearing black, so we must kill each other."
It's like gag colors.
Yeah, that's pretty much been the theme. Black versus white.
Spy versus spy, you know. standard thing.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't
Let's
the
go with that
Iran-
interpretation.
Didn't the Iran card do the same black versus white thing?
Yes.
Yep.
Are they just gonna keep repeating that now for every group enemy?
Well, no, because this is the last
Yes.
one, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Uryu shows up.
Oh, yeah. Is he a villain? Maybe. Possibly.
I just wanted to point this out. Ichigo's friends kind of suck because
Little bit.
Yeah,
they're
they do.
either walking off to get captured when they're either walking off to get captured or joining the bad guys.
Mm.
Every single arc.
Except Chad, because he's sound.
Chad's a cool guy. He's the big cool guy.
Chad's a bro, kind of.
Yeah.
He is,
he-
yeah.
Mm. Also, I feel like Orihime is taking style tips from Tia Haribel.
Yeah, it looks like. She said, where did they even appear from? Chad and Orihime just suddenly like, oh, here we are, right in the nick of time. Just look sad at Uryu before he leaves immediately afterwards. What timing?
Yeah, they just needed to be there so they could be there. They are going to do nothing in the ensuing fights, but they're just sort of
Oh, hell
there now.
Also, I feel like there's fan service for both genders on that page, because Chad's wearing an open shirt and Orihime is Well, or
Or
Hime.
Hime.
Yeah, it looks... I'm not sure whether I was reading that page wrong or seeing that image wrong, but is she just wearing a super cleavage shirt or something that's just, like, wide open for the chest and then closes again?
It looks like
I'm
she's
checking
just.
it right now.
It looks like she's just wearing a top with sleeves that like covers her chest, completely misses her stomach, but covers her arms,
Mm.
which is weird.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
it's
tell
open
whether
in
that
the
was
belly and the cleavage.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether that was cleavage or just really weirdly drawn, like the shadows were weird or something.
I kind of want to know why they thought she would wear something like that. She's not one
Yeah.
to show off, and unless she was forced into the hollow
Yeah.
stuff, which she was wearing before.
Pretty much. Then again, 2 years, character development, yada yada, hand wave. Yeah.
It's been 2 years, so she must wear more revealing clothes.
Yeah, because that's how character development works with women.
Mm.
It's been 2 years. And be super, super either really strong or actually weaker than we were in comparison to before. But
Is that
you
enough
won't
to warrant
notice a
technical
difference.
difficulties music, or is that just me?
Sorry, what?
Was that enough to warrant technical difficulties music, or was that just me?
No.
Okay.
That
Yeah, Zero's
audio
your
will
audio
still
cut
go,
out.
and everyone else's will just be silent because nothing happened for a second there.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, you dropped out, or we all dropped out and no one heard what you were saying. Never mind.
Nobody cares.
I'm sure it wasn't funny.
I got the gist
So.
of it.
Wow. Okay. I understand.
Uh,
Now I see the light. So basically, one problem I have with this is Udio appears, he fires an arrow, says, "Ichigo, you're an idiot," and then leaves. It's basically
He fires
what
a
happens.
lot of arrows, actually.
Fires a lot.
Not
Okay, he fires a lot of arrows, but for him it's like one arrow with his BS abilities.
yeah, but I kind of agree with Urio because Ichigo's like, God, I can't believe you betrayed us again and stuff, and then Urio's like, you're a fucking idiot. Of course I am going to do a heel face turn later. Of course I am. I'm a plant, you idiot. You idiot.
I can
Yeah,
see him just,
so-
like, doing some kind of really obvious signal somehow, like
He's like,
eyebrow raising or something.
it is not within you to stop His Majesty. It's not within you. He's just pointing at himself. You to stop His Majesty. Leave. Seriously,
What movie is
leave.
that where somebody's trying to do that and they're just winking a lot, and then the other guy's like, do you have a problem with your eyes?
Mm. Anyway, I guess that's Bleach done.
Yeah.
So, Naruto, in order. We're gonna go in order.
Alright.
So, I'm gonna pull fucking Chrome up again so that I can go page by page. Because we're gonna do it properly in order this time. I feel like it deserves it.
I'm just going to pick up this chapter and I'm going to start reading it without any context, so.
Okay. Oh. First panel of the first page. Toe-to-toe with the ultimate evil.
And then it also says Zuzu.
No, I'm just gonna stick with the toe-to-toe with the ultimate evil thing for a second. No. Just, no. You have not earned the right to use that line for this character that has not been part of the story for more than 10% of the entire story's length.
More than 10?
Yeah.
That's generous. That's generous
Very
saying it's
generous.
even anywhere near 10%.
The last
I'd
50
wager
chapters,
2.
maybe, so it'd be like, what, 8%?
This lady has not been involved for 50 chapters. I will not even give her 50 chapters.
She was introduced in the fucking backstory exposition dump.
Hold
for
on.
Naruto.
We're going to go to Narutopedia for the win here. This will tell me when she was introduced.
I just want to
Okay.
note that, Sasuke is standing on a disc of darkness, and that made me think that he was like an evil Static Shock.
Hmm. He has the
Really?
lightning powers for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
Which chapter is this?
682.
682. 670. So it's 12. 12 chapters.
Yeah.
When she was first introduced, though, as just a character concept of, like, what's his name, saying, Naruto, this is how this is the reason I became the Sage of Six Paths.
Yeah, that's that chapter. It's 670.
So the amount.
Oh, okay.
So the amount of time that she's been in here is equivalent to 0.01759530079.
Percent.
So the percentage of that would be 1.75%, 1.76 rounded up.
Not even 2% of the story. And this is the ultimate evil.
Yeah.
You know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer tried a plot very similar to this, and the last season was all about facing the first evil. But the thing is, they at least tried to set it up a little bit. Even just sort of saying these elements that came in previous seasons, they were foreshadowing for this. They probably weren't at the time when they were written, but they co-opted them and made them part of this. They were just sort of free-floating elements that they added as part of the story arc.
I think it's okay to
Naruto
kind of
doesn't
bullshit stuff into that sometimes.
Yeah, Naruto doesn't even seem to do that, though. I mean, I feel like they tried to do something like that with fucking Zuzu or whatever his fucking name is, but it didn't work. Like, they just said that this was all stuff from that, but they didn't explain why.
Yeah, not really.
Like, in said Buffy season, the foot soldiers were called the Bringers. They were these blind guys, and they were actually in the series, like in season 2 or 3 or something. But this, it's just, hey, this guy was always here, and they just show shots of him being there in previous scenes, and fucking...
Yeah, the push and boots method, yeah.
No, you can't do that. That doesn't work as plotting and foreshadowing. It's not how... Yeah, no. I don't buy this. Not in the slightest. It doesn't work.
It really doesn't.
And apparently, she has absorbed every known jutsu. So what's the fight happening for? Why is this fight happening?
You just need to use a unknown jutsu. That's all you gotta do. It's simple, right?
Well,
apparently that's what's about to happen.
Yes.
Are we gonna get to this now?
Not
Are we
yet.
doing this now?
Let's just foreshadow this a bit.
Okay, so Sasuke is agreeing to a plan that Naruto has to use a technique that he has secretly been working. Can I just point?
Yeah.
Can I just say, secretly working on? That is code for the writer pulled this out of his ass at the last minute.
Yes, it is.
Secretly working on. Naruto has secretly worked on things before, but the audience was shown them at least. But no, we're not even getting that anymore.
But in the context of this, what he does, it's really more like, how can I improve this thing I've already been doing? Just a little bit. It's really not that big of a leap, I don't think. Like, I don't think it would even take a day of practice.
Yeah, I don't see how he had to practice this at all.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do this now. And you know what? I hated this chapter. I hated it. Right up until this was revealed. This was the perfect setup and reveal that this is the best that this series has ever done with that gag.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
The look of just stunned silence was perfect.
Yeah.
So, the technique he uses, for those of you who don't read Naruto, is reverse harem no jutsu.
The inversion, gender-wise, of his regular harem no jutsu.
Except he made all the clones vary in appearance.
A little bit, yeah, so...
Tumblr has already compared a lot of them to existing characters in the show. Like, one of them's what's the name of the guy the originator of the curse seal?
Orochimaru, right?
No, the guy Orochimaru
Jugo.
got it from. Jugo, I think his name
Jugo.
is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the top right is clearly him. Or at least based on him.
Yeah, and you could argue that the one in the middle is Deidara.
Yeah.
With the hair in front of his eye, yeah.
So basically, he's like, I'm going to pull every handsome character I've seen throughout the entirety of this and use them! Genius!
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it's not quite as narcissistic as using, 12 of his own female version.
He gives Soccer a nosebleed.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Not really.
So, and the logic of it is sound. It seems to work more on more powerful people. That also is...
So yeah, because the shock value, you don't expect somebody to actually use that in a fight.
It also makes sense because those people would be incredibly sexually repressed because they've wasted all of their time on fucking becoming super powerful or stuff, or whatever, right?
Also true. Had not considered that.
I just like, what he says afterwards, which I can't say because,
This the history of ninja, you bitch.
He's like, this is the history of the ninja. Reverse harem jutsu.
Emphasis. Where does it count? You gotta say it, Mira.
I can't do
Yes,
it.
you can.
No, I can't.
Just say it.
No.
It's for emphasis, bitch.
Yeah, mine
It's
says
one
bastard,
syllable.
or you bastard, so I'm confused.
I like this translation better though.
Yeah.
You might be the progenitor of Chakra or whatever, but I bet you never seen this jutsu before, and it works.
Yeah.
It works,
sort of.
and I love it.
It works enough to stun her for one hit, which they utterly waste.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't Sasuke still have a sword? Did he not consider using that, maybe?
I think he lost that when he got killed by Madara.
Ah.
I don't know.
Who knows? I just know it was a pretty perfect comedy setup. Credit where it's due, they really pulled that off well.
Yeah.
Why did he just
Everything else in this chapter is utter shit, but
why did he just punch her? I feel like it's like, okay, she's shocked, use her ultimate attack now.
Because in Shonen, you have to punch someone once in a big fight.
and that's the turnaround point.
Except it's not.
I don't really remember what else happened in this chapter except for that. Honest with you.
She's just like GTFO and she leaves.
Oh, yeah, she sends them to fucking elemental dimensions, I guess.
And
yeah.
then
Oh,
Sasuke's
Sasuke
like,
landed in the desert. There was a Spaceballs post. Just them finding Sasuke in Spaceballs.
comb the desert. I watched it with my friends a while back. That's
Yeah.
nice.
I really need to watch that one again.
Mm-hmm. It's aged pretty well. Also, I'm looking at that picture that Slicer put up earlier. Oh my gosh. Why Slicer? Why does this exist?
I don't know. That's not a question you'd be asking me.
You guys look at that thing that he put up, that picture?
Must I?
He put it up in the chat. It should be the newest link.
Is this the anti-masturbation cross?
Yes.
Yes.
Apparently it is.
5 years and older. Bless you.
So, yeah. Why did you put this up? I don't understand.
I don't know. I found it amusing.
Papoose, Cross, and Arm Immobilizer work together to safely secure a self-raping child. It's not rape if you don't like it.
Right, okay. I'll just drop that in the fucking link dump for people to peruse at their own will, and you guys can discuss this masterpiece of invention while I go take a pee.
Optional arm immobilizing accessory slides under board for firm spread eagle position.
Why are you explaining it to the people? They don't
Adjustable
need to
head
know
strap
this.
incorporated the backboard. Adjustable canvas straps with Velcro. Velcro your kid to a cross. Why not? Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
Parents, have you ever
Why did
imagined
you
your
put
children
that
masturbating? Do you worry what they do when your back is turned? Do you fear that they will fall into the grip of Satan? Why?
Wow.
Worry no more. Introducing the anti-masturbation cross. I'm Christian, okay? I am Christian. And I will tell you right now that is stupid.
Well, yeah.
Gosh darn it. You know what their logo for this thing is? It's a hand.
What?
In a circle with a line drawn through it. That red circle with the line drawn through it, there's a handprint in there.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yeah, the question is, what if they find ways to, do it without using their hands? What are you going to do then? Huh? Huh?
I'm just not going to talk.
Safely train your children to keep their hands off their dangerous sin zones.
Dangerous sin zones.
Okay, second time in as many episodes that I've had to drop out of fucking the podcast for a minute or two. That's not a good habit to get into.
Casey, are
How
you going to
unprofessional.
safely... Casey, are you going to safely train your children to keep their hands off their dangerous sin zones?
Dangerous sin zones? Really?
Seriously, though.
Dangerous Sin Zone sounds like a very good Sonic the Hedgehog level, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So...
It's like Casino Night on steroids. Or on Viagra, I suppose.
So, yeah. From the perspective of somebody who is actually Christian and goes to church, this is just too much.
Yeah.
Why would you even... No. Don't do that. That's for strict parents who just decide that their children shouldn't have freedom.
It's not real.
I'm not sure that's who this is for. Parents, have you ever imagined your child masturbating? What? What?
That's pretty interesting, an opening line like that.
I don't think this thing is real. I'm hoping it's not.
I think you have a lot of faith in humanity, and I pity you.
I'm going to their website.
Don't do that.
It's gonna be fucking goat
I'm going to stopmasturbationnow.org.
Dear Lord, I'm following him.
Wow.
Come with us, listeners. We're going on an adventure through the internets.
We're not. Staying right here at the fucking Naruto manga page where it's safe.
Oh, I forgot my internet shit, so I'm not going to be able to do that.
Comparatively
Yeah.
safe.
Oh, look, this is a website. Let's see.
Of course it's a website.
Stop Masturbation Now. Faith and Family Values. It's got tabs about, classifieds, family fun, I am Lonnie Childs, whatever, photo testimonials, prayer leaderboard.
We are
Prayer
we are
leaderboard.
looking for the anti-masturbation cross. If that is not on there, you need to get out of there now.
They had something about Seth Rogen and masturbation. Hold on, let me go back.
What?
Why am I doing this?
I don't know, but you need to put a link in the fucking chat so that I can link it.
Kim Jong-un angry at Seth Rogen for filming masturbation in snuff film. Or something. Hold on. Here you guys go.
I'm good, actually. You don't need to.
Wait.
You don't need to do that.
Are they quoting Kim Jong-un?
Masturbation is the pits. How many more innocents will suffer? Depraved Twitter user hides masturbation supplies on college campus.
No. Go back. Did you say they're quoting Kim Jong-un?
Kim Jong-un angry at Seth Rogen for... I think this is a whole funny... I actually think this is a joke website.
You don't say.
Yeah, I'm just saying. In case you haven't realized by now, this is a joke website. Because some people might not be able to see
I
this.
still think it's probably real.
You know why it's a joke website? Because their picture of Kim Jong-un and the picture of Seth Rogen, it's Psy and then a different actor. This is what we call a joke website. It's funny, though.
Yeah.
It is super funny to read these fake headlines. Because if you click on any of these links, you get to a 503 page. Just error.
Ah.
See?
Okay. Are we ready to move on to actual topics now?
Yes.
I think we are.
Okay.
I think we've
that was
had our fun.
I think that was a pretty strong transition.
I don't even remember where we were. How did we get to this?
Naruto.
I don't see how we got to this from Naruto.
I looked at that picture.
Glories of Tumblr, I guess.
So planning ahead for characters is our next topic. I need fucking intelligence.
Tempest Chopper gave us
Thing
this.
Naruto failed at really hard.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah.
Not even kind of. That is absolutely what
So
was
planning
wrong.
ahead for characters, as it was explained to me by Tempest Chopper, was when you introduce a character, like how far ahead do you plan for that character to be like important later or show up later? Like this guy might be actually just like a random NPC, but in actuality he is the biggest NPC. Like how far ahead do you plan that? Do you plan ahead for that? Do you what? And so for me, I do plan ahead on a lot of the major like things that character will be doing. But some of it's like I'm going to leave this seed here, leave this seed here. That way I can use those later and fall back on those later if I need to use this character. Sometimes. Because, you know, you're never certain. As you're writing, things have a tendency to change in ways that you didn't expect. Because, you know, my writing is more organic. So I leave openings for characters to come in and change rather than just being like, this character has to do this.
Yeah, I tend to write more organic as well, but not because... That's not what I'm actually writing. If you're actually writing a planned story and you want to have a definite end point that you're going to reach, and you have all of these plot points that you want to get to and get through, then you want to plan ahead your characters. You want to have them all set up and ready to fall like dominoes as you go along.
Yeah, I have the major things. I have the major things plotted out. It's just a lot of the minor things. Just more organic on those, I guess. It's more like you want to have those things that you know will be important, that you need to be important for your story to end the way you want it to end. Those things need to be planned out.
Yeah, and that's assuming that you have a definite endpoint that you're going to reach, and you know how you're going to get there. There is something to be said for just writing a story and just seeing where it goes, in which case you don't really need as much to plan ahead for your characters.
Yeah.
It helps to know.
It does, yeah.
It helps to just have a basic, plan of what that character is, so you know what that character might do. But deciding what that character might do ahead of time is sometimes pretty detrimental for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So,
like, in my opinion, I'd say the best way to deal with this is to plan ahead for your character, but also be willing to change that plan if it turns out that it might be not the greatest plan in the world. Not necessarily throw it out the window, but adjust according to whatever factors are happening in the story. Because, you may plan for this to happen, and then you might realize later on, oh wait, this doesn't work. So you gotta have it at least somewhat open mind to changing that a little bit. Ken, how far do you plan ahead for characters and stuff? Or do you not plan ahead at all?
It depends. The earlier stuff I wrote, I did not plan shit ahead at all.
Mm-hmm.
I operated on the mode of, does this sound cool? Yeah, let's do that. But by the time I started writing, Better Left Unsaid, I actually started planning ahead what I want people to do and what I wanted out of the character.
Yeah.
How I wanted them to develop. And basically, it's how the weird fighting styles came. It's how Ino ended up using poison, and it's how Naruto ended up using ash as a weapon.
Whenever I think of an idea, I have a certain amount planned out, roughly at least. Some scenes are planned out specifically, but after that, I just go by ear. Whatever sounds coolest and whatever makes most sense for what I have.
Yeah, when I first started, I'm going to go ahead and admit that I probably barely even thought about the making sense part. Or continuity. If it was cool, if I thought it was cool, why not do that? Because it doesn't make sense, you idiot. But, hey, hindsight.
I just hit myself in the face with my laptop charger.
Wonderful.
kudos.
It was in the opposite wall behind me, and I needed to charge my laptop. So I reached behind it, and I grabbed it and I pulled it out of the wall with such force and such speed that the plug flew out of the outlet and then hit me in the face.
So you hit yourself with the plug, not the actual bulk of part of the charger.
Yeah.
I feel like Zero was trying to segue us into the next topic there. A little bit.
What? No.
Did it work?
Ish.
I was just saying I hit myself.
I feel like he attempted to use a literary device, which was... I don't know quite what the proper name for it is. Just like sort of repetition, building and stuff on the statement.
I was?
Such force and such speed.
I was using... I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
That is a technique. I don't know if it has a proper name.
What, hyperbole?
I was just talking normally. I guess I am a walking literary device. All right.
No, that only happens when you actually start using alliteration in regular speech.
I could do that, but I really, really, really don't want to. So, playing ahead for characters. We got anything else to say?
I think we pretty much covered it. A lot of the stuff that we have to say is just a repetition of what we said for foreshadowing. So,
All right. Yeah, using literary devices.
Using literary devices.
And Tempest Chopra brought this up, and he's like, how often do you guys actually use that stuff that you learned in school now? That you've, all that stuff you learned in school with those literary devices, how often do you actually use those in your stories?
Funny thing, I pretty much don't. I really should, but I very little of my writing actually uses a lot of the devices that we learned, such as like alliteration and metaphor and such things.
I use metaphors all the time. I use alliteration for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The thing is with literary devices, unless you know exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it, it's better to just stay away.
Yeah.
So, like, using alliteration, the point of alliteration specifically, because I know this one quite well, is you want to use alliterating words that have a very specific sound.
Mm-hmm.
So, if something, say, something dangerous is happening or something bad is happening, then you want to have a very harsh sound to the words. So, hard C's, so k every time is good. So, cracking, creating caverns, consuming.
Yeah.
something.
And if you want to have a sort
That
of
kind
a character snake sort of deceptive-ish sort of tone, you use S sounds.
Yeah, it's a lot of tone and onomatopoeia, sort of
Mm-hmm.
generating the effect of what you want the reader to imagine as they're reading it.
Yeah.
So, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing is something that pretty much every writer will use.
Every writer. That's one you pretty much have to know if
Yeah.
you're going to write a story at all.
Yeah. On
No,
a
the
side
only thing I
note,
learned in school that
Hmm?
you can go.
Go ahead.
okay. On a side note, I was recently contacted. Somebody wants to pick up and adopt my Celestial Suicide Mage story, which is my fairy tale and Persona story.
Cool.
Problem is, in his review that he left, he had no punctuation or capitalization.
Ooh.
And he called it a history.
Does he have anything?
He has
Does he have
one.
anything written?
He has one thing written, and a lot of the time he forgets to use periods. So I asked him to send
No.
me some of his writing. Yeah, punctuation, kind of key. But I just saw that because you're talking about literary devices, and I just told him, hey, I don't know if that's how you currently write, so just send me something that you write, and then I'll be able to judge. He hasn't responded though. It's probably because I pointed out that he had no capitalization or no punctuation at all. Or, yeah.
It's hard to say no when someone volunteers to write something for your work.
Yeah, it's hard, but at the same time, it's a story, not a history. Don't call it a history.
Kind of.
It's easy, actually. It's very easy to deny people.
He also wanted to rewrite it, and I was like,
Mm.
Okay,
Massive
in that
red
case,
flag
write your own
there.
goddamn story and don't put my name on it.
yeah, don't put my name on that. So, for when it comes to literary devices, like metamorphosis, metaphors, crap. My brain's going weird places. Metaphors and similes can both be very useful. Like you're bound to use those.
Yeah,
Those
you'll
are-
use them without even realizing
Yeah.
the laws.
Those-
Assuming you've gone through high school completely
Yeah.
and have had this stuff drilled into your head, you're going to do this without even realizing it.
Mhm.
I probably have. Pretty much any writer
Yeah.
who has done that has. So
Yeah, onomatopoeia. That's used a lot by fan fiction writers.
a lot
It's
because
just-
a lot of them read comics and such
Yeah,
things.
just writing out the sounds.
Yeah.
Just writing
Yeah.
out sounds.
Absolute basics of the basics for literary techniques. Description. Yeah?
Mm.
One of the key things you need to remember, and this is also something that I don't do and probably should, when you're doing description, invoke the senses as much as possible.
Yeah.
Sight and sound are obvious. Everyone's going to write about how something looks and what it sounds like.
Now-
Actually, just mostly what it looks like.
What
because,
people
you know,
often
people
forget.
used to visual media. Let me finish.
Yeah.
A lot of time people forget smells.
Yes.
Smells can be very visceral when it comes to invoking imagination.
Yeah.
So, smell is a very good one to use
Also,
when you get the chance.
touch. If you're talking about the
Mhm.
walls of a place, or even taste if you're tasting the air.
It goes a little bit into smell, but yes,
Yeah.
also true.
Like, you're near the sea, the air tasted like salt.
I think I'm really good at describing pain.
You would know.
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That made me think about that.
Yeah. So evoking the five senses, trying to get as many of those as you can, is a good thing. It's something I'm not the best at. It's something I try to work in, but
Likewise, I have to really focus if I'm going to try and do that. So
yeah, it's hard for a fan fiction writer, especially because you think people would know what you're talking about, and most of the time, you know.
Most of the time they don't, because smell-o-vision is not a thing, surprisingly. So you have your imagination what it smells like because you've seen it and stuff, but try and include that because it's important and it really builds on atmosphere.
Yeah.
So
other things, literary devices. Anybody ever use the hero's journey for anything?
I'll be honest, I kind of hate that archetype because I've seen it so many times in such basic formats. That is your Star Wars journey. That is your Lord of the Rings journey. That is your heroic character. His home gets destroyed. He can never go home again. He has to go on a journey to save the world or the country or something from a great big evil. And he will go through trials and tribulations and eventually come out of it and be a hero and save the day. And he may or may not die at the end.
Yeah. So
yeah, those suck.
Don't follow the whole hero's story thing.
I wouldn't say that, but try and put a unique spin on it.
At least that. You know that actually I saw something analyze the Harry Potter books, and apparently that whole thing was a hero story arc.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Vaguely. I'd agree that the 7th book specifically is like that. But the rest of them not so much.
I don't know. I saw a post on that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting.
The you can't go home again thing is a very specific point that a lot of heroes' journeys actually have to hit. It's very important for the character archetype, and Harry Potter doesn't hit that until the 7th book when the fucking Death Eaters attack Privet Drive. So
I just saw a hero's journey in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone when I first stepped that in. So apparently maybe they use it in... I think they use it in more books than you might think, because like Chamber of Secrets, he leaves his home and he goes into the Chamber of Secrets, or this or that. There is some minor hero's journey stuff in there.
You're being very generous with that, because he just goes right back to the Dursleys at the end of every year. So it's not it's not really... Yeah.
I don't know. But
not quite the same thing.
Always put a unique spin on it. Your hero doesn't have to come out of it as a big hero. Sometimes he comes out of it a different character, but not necessarily for the better.
Yeah.
And so there is that to consider. Other literary devices that you use.
Am I going to have to go dig into my shit and break out my 10th grade English?
Oh, God.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. Beginning, middle, end. Basic story structure. Boom.
Oh, yes.
That's something I use.
That's something a lot of people don't use.
Exactly.
So, folks, your beginning should not be the longest part of your story.
No.
In other words, you should not spend 2 years writing just the beginning of the story. Your hero's childhood years are not that interesting.
Yeah.
Not really.
When I was first writing M1 and 470, I started that out before the story even began. So I at that point in time I was updating like once every 2 or 3 days. So I blazed that whole thing in like 5 chapters. Like, okay, good, done. Now into the actual story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I am literally Googling literary devices as we speak.
You wanted me to go look for that list.
This just goes to show how much we, as fanfiction writers, and probably most writers in general, just literary devices. Yeah, you use some. Oh, imagery. Yeah, you use some imagery. A little bit of personification in some things.
Oh God, this is a very, very general list.
Yes, it is.
Oh God.
Anybody use euphemisms? I use them for comedy.
Everybody uses you must use euphemisms. You have no choice but to use euphemisms.
Hyperbole, yeah, that's for comedy. Irony, yeah.
90% of people don't know what irony is, so...
Oh, isn't that ironic?
No, that's not ironic.
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's not supposed to be taken seriously.
No, actually, 90% of people don't know what irony is, but they use it anyway, is ironic.
Mm-hmm.
Because they use it, but they don't know how to use it. So it's ironic that they would try to use it when they don't know how. Because it's different from what you would expect from events or something. That's irony, I think.
The use of irony in literature refers to playing around with words such that the meaning implied by a single word is actually different from the literal meaning. Often irony is used as just the stark contrast of the literal meaning being put forth. Deeper real layer of significance is revealed not by the words themselves, but the situation and the context in which they are placed. For example, a guy being, saying, "Oh, what fine luck I have," and they actually have bad luck and they're unhappy, but they're saying, "Oh, what great luck I have." Yeah. There's many different types of irony. There's situational irony and other things. Oh, here's another one that a lot of people like. Deus Ex Machina.
We've done that one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we already done that one.
People liking it is spreading that one a little thin, but...
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I've not heard of like half of these.
Tone, theme. Yeah, those are important.
Oh, motif. This is one that you very, very rarely see. Actually, you probably most see it in common media, and you'll most notice it in music because of leitmotif, where a certain tune is associated with a certain character. Yeah, so motif, a lot of the time, it's just a certain concept that's constantly present through the story. So a lot of the time it is used to reinforce the message of whatever the story is. So it'll bring something up over and over again to say, hey, remember, this is what this story is about, and this is what you should be learning from it, and such things. It's not used very often from fanfiction stories. A lot of the time, fanfiction stories don't really have a message that they're trying to convey. So I kind of get that.
Not usually.
If you're going to try and write something original, then maybe consider putting a motif in so that you can decide what your story is about and what it's trying to tell the reader.
They have a story to tell rather than a message to tell.
Well, you can have both, certainly.
There is kind of a motif in one of my stories, I guess. Not really a motif, but more of a recurring element. And it's kind of the element of just metal as a thing. Because in some of the earlier chapters, some of the chapter titles refer to forging metal, like annealing, plastic deformation. And then, it repeated as a character because, if you read the story, you understand. But I kind of use some a little bit. But it's not something most people do. Just kind of foils. Foils, as in having a character that's a character foil of another character. When they're, basically sort of kind of opposites that contrast with each other well.
Makes a good character interaction.
Oxymorons. Oxymorons are an interesting one. The contradicting terms, like a cold fire.
Yeah.
So, like, you can have a cold fire in your eyes and such things. That's the example that's used on the page, actually. For transparency's sake, I can say that. But, that's one you see a lot of people use and not even think about using it.
Or a lot of people use because they think it sounds cool.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem with them, actually.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, you need to know exactly what that specific thing you're saying is going to actually say.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
It's kind of like alliteration in that sense. You've got to know exactly what you're doing with it to make it evoke the right feel for what the words are going to evoke in the reader.
Another thing, just mention point of view and, keeping it consistent. Because I've noticed some stories have, for their point of view, it switches from first to third just randomly throughout the story. So for the low quality stories, but it's good to keep a consistent point of view.
Yeah.
Prologue. In fact, I feel like this is what we were talking about when I was talking about beginning, middle, and end specifically. Prologue. The beginning of the story before the story has really begun. Yeah, don't spend all of your time on that. Get that done, get it out of the way, and get to the actual story.
Yeah.
Just keep it one chapter and short, usually.
Yeah. Like, one
Unless
chapter
you have a
prologue.
lot set up, anyway.
One chapter prologue, maybe some more chapters if you want to set up real quick.
Yeah.
But really, you don't want to. I don't think you want to put more than 5 chapters.
Yeah.
And even
keep it brief, get the important moments out of the way, so you can get to the actual defining the character as he is, rather than what led him to be what he is.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there are a lot of these literary devices, and I feel like we're going to be going. If we go through all of them, we'd run out of time. Possibly.
I've read through most of them. A lot of them are very specific to certain media, so a lot of them we can't really use.
But, there's
symbolism you're never going to see used in a fanfiction story. Because they don't know how.
They really don't know how.
For the most part.
Diction, word usage, word choice. I actually use this a lot because I like to make sure that I'm using diction that fits the characters that are talking or that fits the scene. You have to make sure that the words that you're using fit. Because I've seen people who are like, and I've actually edited the writing of people who use a bunch of, fancy schmancy, look at my big vocabulary, I'm going to throw this out there. And not everything has to be overly, described with adjectives and all these rich, big, fancy words. You have to use what fits.
Yeah.
You can really get caught up in that, and it looks really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be careful with
well,
that.
It can, anyway.
Yeah, a lot of famous writers have gone on to say, not every door shuts tightly or hardly. Not every slams, not everything falls heavily. It doesn't have to always have description. You just have to use what fits for the area.
Yeah. I think last one, because it's literally right at the end of the fucking list. Verisimilitude. Make your writing seem like it happens in a real place. Make it feel real. Like, obviously, magic, fucking ninjutsu and whatever and all that stuff can't actually happen.
Yes, it can. You gotta believe.
Exactly. The point is to make it feel like it could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all based on real events. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, thanks for that, Ken. That actually was effective in getting the point across, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ken. Alright. Are we done for literary devices? Does anyone want to bring up one last minute?
I'm good.
Just that I haven't used anything I learned in school aside from basic grammar. I did not pay attention in English class. Everything I've learned is from fanfiction, actually.
Fantastic.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't know. All those people that write fanfiction went through the same English class as he did. Maybe they paid attention.
So yeah, if anybody wants us to go in depth on any of these specifically, you can just put in the comments on the YouTube or the Blogspot page. And
sure, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, because there are a lot of these.
I'll actually Oh, I can't open the fucking tab. I'll have to Google it again. But I will link the list that I was looking at. And if you want us to go into any of these on specifics, we will absolutely do that for you.
I mean, the list
because we are sweet like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was at the top of the search page.
His Fandom Flux cares.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
60% of the time.
Yeah.
All right.
When we're running out of topics, we tend to care.
So here's our, I guess, next topic, and this is a one that
Fear.
I have to talk about.
Yeah, fear. Zero is going to lead this conversation because a lot of us haven't actually tried to invoke fear in readers before. It's not something that we're very good at.
It's an interesting art style. Writing style that I've not done.
You know,
Now, one thing,
erotic.
when you're doing...
And Kenshi tends to write action. I tend to write whatever the fuck I feel like writing at the time.
And I
never
just
done
write a
so.
mosh pot of everything, I guess.
Yeah, and Zero happens to be the one that has done fear before. So, Zero, if you would take it away, so we can learn from your majesty.
All right. So, in one of my stories, there was this really sort of creepy little girl, I guess, rather. And she was a little girl in this instead of being a guy like in the canon because story stuff happened. And I was like, how am I going to write this in a way that feels sort of scary? So I looked it up and I wrote it, and what you want to do is you want to, for the parts when you're trying to make them feel fear, you want to avoid using overcomplicated sentences and vocabulary. The more basic, the better. And, you know, if you give it a more, if you want to make a really creepy little girl, you want to give it a sort of a slightly tender feel. Like they are almost loving in a way. And, like, one-word sentences actually help a lot here. And, you know, you want to use, typically, rather than saying blood, blood, blood all the time, because everybody's like, you know, that's a bad creepypasta right there. You just say, there was a lot of blood, and it was flowing everywhere. You can just use the word red. Slightly more ominous.
Yeah, just overusing blood is kind of easy, I guess. It's a shortcut.
Yeah. Like, the best way I've seen to actually write that is to not straight and go to horror, but to dance around it slightly. Because when you do that, you're leaving parts of it unknown, and you're leaving it up to the, you know, the audience, the readers, to immerse themselves into it and be like, okay, they're imagining this scene. You know, so you can do like long descriptions of this is what happened, this is what happening, this is what happening, and then when a really scary part happens, the story just stops. Small sentences, basic grammar. Because when you're scared, when you're really scared, you don't use overcomplicated sentences. You don't use overcomplicated, diction.
No, not so much.
You're much more just quiet. You are either shocked into silence, or you are basically...
You are thinking very quickly and don't have time to just dwell on things.
Yeah. So, it's not a place for purple prose. It really isn't.
It is a place for onomatopoeia, though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of onomatopoeia. Like, things that invoke things that might generally, in a general sense, just sort of unnerve people. Like, skittering.
Yeah.
Because it brings to mind the idea of small, crawly things just skittering around the walls.
You have to evoke as much images as you can of like insects or other things which are creepy, crawly, scary. Yeah. Because that is that's how you do it in a literary medium. That's how you have to do it. Because you don't have sound effects like in a movie. It's actually a little bit more ominous where you just write, skittering.
Yeah. You have to make them think the sound effects, I guess.
And I think I've more so improved on how to actually do this so that I can do this in future chapters. Because when I first did it, it was more basic. It was from the perspective of the creepy little girl. But I feel like now I could do it from the perspective of the person who is on the receiving end. And you don't want to, you really do want to dance around it, but yet also evoke these small little images of this is what's happening, this is happening. You want to have that smell, you want to have that taste, you want to have that touch. Because it's those senses that actually can really affect how the reader feels, because you are more immersed in that, and you're more susceptible to actually being scared and creeped out. Anybody else got any comments?
Just that once you get the reader in that kind of mood, it's easier to keep it going.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Like, I'll link the chapter that I was using, and it's one of my chapters, and it's down below, like, after the later that night. And it's kind of more basic. It was a lot more basic, because at the time, like, that was, like, chapter 12, and I'm on chapter, like, 20 right now. So it was a long time ago, because I update barely ever. But I used small sentence structure, and I used kind of a looping sort of weird logic. Yeah. It's not my best, but it was my first foray into it. And since then, I kind of understand how to do it now. So if you want
to... repetition as well.
Yeah, repetition. That's a big
repetition. If you repeat yourself a lot in whatever you're writing to evoke horror, obviously, then it kind of can give the reader the impression of being lost.
Mm-hmm.
And being lost is a very, very basic way to invoke fear.
Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that in there. Sorry, Zero, you were saying?
Well, you can actually use repetition to kind of assert the fact that it's not just being lost, but kind of like the character might, if you use it right, like the character's kind of losing their mind a little bit.
If that fits with the story, anyway.
Yeah, if that fits with the story.
Crazy.
Because I think that's actually a side effect of schizophrenia. I'm not sure if it's schizophrenia or it's some mental disorder where you repeat yourself a lot. Dementia, yeah. So that is a thing. So if you, evoking fear is not terribly like difficult in terms of structure.
It requires a bit of care, though.
Yeah, it does require you to be careful, because there's a fine line between this is scary and this is just weird. What is this? I don't understand. Or even laughing at it.
Yeah, you really don't want people to be laughing at your horror. That's just kind of the opposite effect of what you're trying to go for.
You want to keep it ominous. But at the same time, you don't want to go overly super like, ooh, it's so mysterious. There's a shadow in the doorway. And there's a shadow in the corner.
Being coy doesn't work in horror most of the time.
No.
Yeah. So, there's that.
Tell you what, being closer to first person, closer, I say, not actually in first person, can help as well. Because you want to experience the fear through the person that is experiencing the fear in the story. So, being closer to first person. Being in third person allows the reader to be somewhat detached from events.
But bringing that
that is the opposite effect of what you want to have for horror. So,
but I like when I wrote it in my story, I tried to bring it as close as I could to first person without actually going into first person, because if I did go into first person, you'd get spoilers. And I don't want spoilers. So I had to keep it to third person, and I think it worked out. If you just, it's basically like writing first person, except you're writing it with he or she instead, kind of. That's just kind of how you bridge that gap, is that you can kind of do that. Like, it's interesting. It's kind of a mix, but it's what you have to do if you really want to get brought into that.
I'm sorry. I've been trying not to laugh for like the past 5 minutes because I've been really studying Slice's avatar.
Why?
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
You see it every day for like 5 weeks.
I know, but still. It's a chubby little Solaire.
That's actually a consequence of downsizing the image. It's way bigger than that, but yeah.
Praise.
It looks
the
better that
sun.
way.
All right, so I guess we can stop talking about fear.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good jump out of fear, I think.
Yeah, great.
Praise the sun, bitches!
Yeah.
Alright. You got an image link for that, by the way? I could probably Google it, but whatever.
I don't. Actually, I don't have it left.
Alright. Next topic is fandom.
Joy to the world.
Fandom. Praise the sun, bitches.
Okay, since nobody else seems to be going,
Images.
a lot of people feel one of the fandom things was Dead Space
Wow.
3 turning into a shooter game instead of any kind of horror. Granted, if you play co-op, the co-op player has a lot of horror moments, and it's pretty well done.
That's very true. I'm totally listening to what you're saying, Slicer.
Uh-huh.
That's from a Praise the Sun search, by the way.
Wow. Praise it, I guess.
Praise it.
He posted a picture of tits, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I love having safe search off. It's brilliant.
You're a jackass.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, fandom. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them what you told me earlier to explain the topic?
Oh, fandom is when, say, for example, a writer or director or creator or what have you decides to change whatever they're doing, writing, creating, so to speak. They change their property into a new direction. They go somewhere else with it from where the standard of it was going. Say, for example, Harry Potter's sudden dark turn towards the later books. Or, say...
Resident Evil shift.
Resident Evil shift from survival horror to action horror to action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2.
Dark Souls, I think, is pretty fine for the most part.
That was more of a specific kind of change. It was from careful, cautious combat to you need to kill this enemy before you're swarmed, which kind of sucked. But
yeah, well, with Dark Souls 2, if we're talking about the actual fandom for it, you have the people who played Dark Souls and Demon Souls versus the people who only played Dark Souls 2. And I feel it's kind of an interesting sort of relationship, and that one's like, no, you guys don't know real hard. Dark Souls 2 is too easy. Because there are people who are like that. And then people who are like, you guys are all noobs.
you still looking at my avatar?
No, I'm trying to find that image that you're using, and it's fucking Google image search is great. Guy fucking Solaire doing the YMCA stuff. Great. I love Google image search.
Stop it.
I need to find the thing for the link dump.
No, you don't. Slicer can provide it.
I am professional. I can do this and stuff.
Is that Solaire with a Cuban My Little Pony character?
You've repeatedly told us you can't multitask.
Here goes
have.
Slicer. Here goes
Done
Slicer.
that.
It's a present. I found it on the internet.
I'm worried.
There's oddly a lot of Persona pictures coming up on this.
Oh,
Go figure.
all right, yeah, it's the Celestia.
What were we talking about?
You there. Grab
yeah,
my summer
Fandom.
sign. Touch.
Fandom.
Jolly cooperation.
Fandom. So, I'll tell you a very specific one that comes to mind. Game Grumps. Yeah, when
Alright.
John left.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a thing.
It's not a happy
That was a
time to be
thing.
part of that fandom, I can tell you for sure.
No, everyone bitching for like 2 months or so. That was unpleasant.
Yeah.
Because it just ends up with a lot of people complaining for a long time.
Oh.
And then anyone that wants to give it a chance starts to get sick of the people complaining.
Yeah. Also,
You were gonna say?
the Nuzlocke run for the two best friends, they're doing an okay job, but Pokemon fandom is insane.
A little bit.
There is
Yeah.
no pleasing those people.
Matt has gone on to say that he really doesn't like that Nuzlocke. He's really
I
not
can
having
see
fun
why.
with that. Plus, he's not the biggest Pokemon fan in the world either, so he's kind of like just repeating half-heartedly what Wooly and Liam are saying. Nuzlocks can ruin
So-
friendships.
Sort of.
Not really. Well,
If you
Pokemon's a
actually
one-player
care.
game. Well, that's the thing with Nuzlocke. You tend to end up caring whether you want to or not. But the thing is, it's a one-player game, so what's the fucking difference? New Dante from Devil May Cry.
Ooh, that's a good one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, when the new Dante was revealed, and it was pretty fucking stupid. I admit I kind of fall under the fandom for this one, but, you know, I kind of liked having a badass whitehead character for a while that wasn't fucking Sephiroth or whatever.
Gee, I wonder why.
So, yeah, they changed that, and it was very visible that it looked vaguely like, I think it was the character designer or possibly the project lead or something.
They did base New Dante off of, I think, his voice actor. At least face-wise. Face.
And, it also involved a weird trailer trash-looking dude compared to kind of a douchebaggy-looking dude, but admittedly kind of a cool-looking one. Now it looks like a dumb piece of shit that lives in a trailer park and fucking does massive amounts of heroin all the time.
Who are you
So-
talking about? Dante or...
New Dante.
Okay. I thought you meant Virgil for a second. That was kind of a weird mental image.
No, Virgil looks similar to how he originally did, but has lost all of the class that that character had.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't play that game, so how?
Okay, well, the original character had he was very well spoken.
I know how the
very,
I know who the original Virgil was.
very eloquent.
Yeah.
I very much liked that character, by the way, because he was very classy and stuff, and I like that. It was a nice contrast from fucking kind of douchebaggy, but still entertaining Dante. And then you have new Virgil, who wears a bowler hat and has somewhat nice clothes, but he talks with your standard American accent and is just kind of a normal dude aside from the outfit. And he's very, we've got to save the world and I'll defeat all the demons. He's kind of the hero character now.
No.
Yeah.
Well, he's the hero until the last, 15 minutes of the game?
I don't
And the
know, I didn't
DLC.
finish it. I got like 4th mission and then got fucking sick of it.
Oh, well, yeah, spoilers, but at the last 15 minutes of the game, he says, and now we can rule because Mundus is dead, so he's evil. And then Dante and him fight and duel each other.
Was there any foreshadowing for that? Please tell me there was.
Hell no.
Please give me that. Oh, fuck.
You were expecting way too much out of this series.
See, now I don't know whether that was a change they made because of the aforementioned fandom, because people were pissed that Virgil was a super nice good guy now, or whether that was the original intent and it's also really, really shit.
Not sure.
See, that's a big problem with fandom, because you never know what impact that's going to have. Whether the fandom is just going to make everything change back to how it was, good or bad, and whether that change is going to ruin the entire property because the plans that they were going to do can't just suddenly be switched around completely and back to what it was originally from previous iterations. So you end up with this mishmash of new ideas and old ideas that don't fit together.
Yeah.
So
it's not pretty.
So I really would like in future if people would just shut up and wait for things to be out to see how they are. But that's never going to happen.
I can't really agree with that either, because a lot of the time it does save it from going really stupid directions. Sometimes people need a leash.
Sometimes. I mean, fucking New Cole from Infamous 2 is another character design shift where he ended up looking somewhat like Nathan Drake, and the voice actor sounded like Nathan Drake, and it was really rubbish because it felt like it was just another fucking Nathan Drake. We have like 60 of those.
We do. We have a lot of those.
Remember when Sonic the Hedgehog got a Nathan Drake scarf, and then he became Nathan Drake?
I have never heard anybody compare that scarf to Nathan Drake.
I've heard people compare it. It's made. The game is made by Big Red Button. They're a company that also worked on games that include Nathan Drake.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway, the character redesign, it made sense, and it did end up better for it. That game did end up better for it. But a lot of the time, it ends up being a tug of war between the developers or the writers and the fans. And that never ends well for anybody.
Not usually.
So, yeah, okay. Not never, but not usually. It rarely goes well.
So, yeah. More Nathan Drake? Huh?
I think we have enough of that, really.
More Nathan Drake than your body can handle.
At least Assassin's Creed killed theirs. Admittedly, right before they gave him character and made him interesting, but yeah.
Nathan Drake.
So, remember when you said that was going to be a nice pick-me-up from Fear, Slicer?
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
Are we done with fandom, or shall we keep going? Ken, have you got any examples to throw at us?
No, none of the other.
Make us cry more.
The ones I'm thinking of are the ones that I've beaten in the ground repeatedly. And I don't want to talk about them because they make me sad inside.
Just talk about Nathan Drake. He makes everyone happy.
It doesn't, though. That's the point.
And that's why I keep saying it.
Actually, now that you mention it, I guess we probably should talk about the freaking anime and manga fandom.
Might as well. I mean,
because it's a funny thing about that. The fandom for those fan bases, or at least the American ones, the European ones, they're pretty fucking impotent. Because the mangaka and anime writers aren't writing it for Western audiences, they're writing it for Japanese audiences. So they could give two fucks what the Americans think of it.
Most of the time. There are some series, it's very uncommon, but yes, most of the time, yeah, they don't care.
So, like, people spent years and years bitching about how they hated Sasuke. Literally, at least 70%, I'm pulling that statistic out of my arse, but it certainly feels like 70% of people absolutely hated Sasuke.
That's being generous with it, but yeah, that seems about right.
In America and Europe, he was hated almost across the board, but Japan loved him. So he stayed in because Japan loved him, and that's the main audience for the series. So I don't know whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, that they just didn't care.
Yeah.
Then again, Naruto was not going on a particularly good direction anyway, but
Not really.
that's not a particularly good example to decide whether it's a good thing or bad thing, because that story was doomed from the freaking start, it seems like now.
It's a good example of them completely ignoring every audience but Japan, though.
Yeah, so thought that was interesting to bring up at least. So, we done with fandom, I guess?
All I can think of is maybe the crap that My Little Pony fandom has pulled. I mean, we've done a lot of good, but it gets ugly sometimes.
I wouldn't know about that.
Ah.
You bronies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, actually, I do know about that then. Because the brony thing and the bronies deciding to just say, hey, we're bronies, we're fans of My Little Pony, get over it. I guess. I don't know what their actual march would be, their chant would be during their march, but apparently they feel like they should have one.
I don't know.
It's a weird thing.
It had a good message at its core, but then kind of got away from that pretty quickly.
They act like they are oppressed. They are not. No one could give two shits if you like My Little Pony. So, it was a weird thing. And it got a little bit annoying. But yeah. So, yeah, I can definitely remember that particular instance of fandom.
Mm-hmm. Bronies are very united. They're scary. You do not want to get the bronies as your enemies.
Well, united in the outside source. I don't think we can agree on anything internally.
Because I've seen YouTube pages where somebody just says something bad about bronies, and then they get just slaughtered by everybody.
So, those brony guys, they're pretty great, right? Yeah.
Why not make the bronies my enemy? Just another person to add to the list, I guess.
God damn it, Ken. Alright.
I'm not people.
Yeah, apparently not.
I'm just saying from an outside perspective, that's what people, see. I'm not saying that the bronies are bad or anything. I'm just saying that
that's... bronies can talk shit about other bronies.
Yeah, bronies are fucking bronies and nobody cares, so...
Whatever. That tends to be the perspective
bronies.
of a lot of people. Yeah, just do what you want. But,
feel free. I don't care.
We don't care. We'll still love you all the same.
I don't love them. I don't care. That's my point.
I'm talking about if any of our listeners are bronies, then we'll still love them.
Oh, in that case, yeah. You're cool. You can be bros with Slicer.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can be bronies with Slicer.
Yay.
That was an oddly appropriate yay for once.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Okay. Yay.
Yay.
Recommendations. Let's go to that.
I recommend No Game, No Life if you haven't seen it yet, because it's finished now, and if you are like the type of person that's like, I won't watch the anime until it's finished, so if I watch it halfway through, I have to wait. You don't have to wait now.
So go for it.
Go watch that.
It's finished as it's going to be for another year or so, at least.
Yeah, they have enough light novels out for another season if they want to, so... Yeah, they can do that. Black Bullet is completed now. I haven't watched the final episode yet, but it's a pretty okay anime. It kind of made me cry at one point. maybe. Shut up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good, very tragic at certain parts because of the whole culture that's developed in that world.
I have no idea what Black Bullet is.
Oh, Black Bullet, there's basically, because of this whole thing with these Gastrea, these monsters, women that are like, certain women that are, some like children that are born have these Gastrea powers because their pregnant mothers were, I don't know, attacked or infected or something. And so these children have like awesome powers, and they work with these like adults that have training and military training and other special things, and they work as teams. And not, a lot of people don't like these children because they are technically the spawn of the monsters that killed people's families. So there's one episode in particular, that is super, 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 super. I can't even.
Well, you kind of need to say it because I want to know, and that might kill the series for me.
Don't spoil things.
I don't want to spoil anything, but it's very good because there's one very, very tragic episode that, I was like, okay, this isn't very good. For a while, I was like, okay, this is okay. And then that episode came, and it was kind of a cheap move because it was a gut punch, but it was a very well done gut punch.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I'll give it a look. I don't see why not.
Anything else to recommend, Zero?
That's it.
Okay. Slicer, you got anything?
No Game, No Life. I second that recommendation. It's a good series.
It is a good show.
Mm-hmm.
It's very silly.
We're
Ken?
Go defeat God.
I'm going to recommend the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World manga. Or comic.
Is that technically a manga?
Or a comic, technically.
Yeah, I will second that comic. I will second that. Because I've read like the first 4 volumes in color.
Yeah, I read it too. I didn't really like it.
Oh.
Well, I didn't like how it ended anyway. It was very... It had a very Evangelion ending.
Mm. Well, it's a fun read. For the most part.
Okay. My recommendations. It's going to be Steam games that I played again because that's fucking what I did this week. All of the ones that I rebought because I already had them on 360 are good games. So we have Borderlands 2, we have Dynasty Warriors 8, though that gets dull after a while, so, be wary of that.
Just
Dragon Age
Origins. And they get old quick.
Yeah. Dragon Age Origins, Fable Lost Chapters, Sleepy Dogs, Darksiders 1 and 2, both great games. Every Sonic game on PC are pretty much great games.
Okay, when you say Sleepy Dogs like that, are you making a reference to something, or...?
Yeah, the Giant Bomb.
Okay.
They call it Sleepy Dogs. Sleepy Dogs.
I'm just imagining 2 puppies, and that's like 2 sleeping puppies, and every time you say Sleepy Dogs,
I made that joke, yeah.
I'm just like, there's 2 puppies. This is what I'm imagining him playing, just watching a video of 2 puppies sleeping.
Yeah.
I could play that game.
Push A to yawn cutely.
Yeah. And dogs is spelled D-A-W-G.
Ah,
dogs.
Of course.
Sleepy dogs. Anyway. SteamWorld Dig. I played like an hour of it so far. It's a pretty good game. It's, have you ever played a mining game before where you just dig into the earth and collect resources and take them back and sell them and buy better equipment so you can dig better resources? It's that kind of game.
Oh, that sounds like a completely unique concept.
There's a few of them. There's Miner Dig Deep on Xbox Indie Games, which was also pretty good, and
there's Motherload,
Super
arguably the first one.
Yeah, I played that too. I didn't like it as much as this one, to be honest with you. It's got a nice aesthetic, this one. It's sort of like a Western-style thing, but with robots. So, that's pretty cool. Beat Hazard. I played that for like 10 minutes. You know why I stopped after 10 minutes? Because my eyes wanted to bleed.
Yeah. I thought it was a bad port, but yeah.
Yeah, Beat Hazard is, those play-your-own-music games?
Yeah.
So like Audio Surf or Symphony, or there's another early access one that I bought that isn't very good. I can't remember what it's called. It's kind of like those. Particularly like Symphony because that one's a fucking shoot 'em up game. It's a dual stick shooter, and the effects are insane. Like lots and lots of bright flashing lights all of the time. I couldn't look at the menu screen until I turned down the effects.
Wow.
Because it is that constant flashing blindingness. I cannot recommend this to anyone, surprisingly enough. I am specifically calling this out as a game you should not play, especially if you have any eye problems.
Or epilepsy.
Especially if you have epilepsy. Don't even look at this game.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So yeah, I'm not even going to link that in a link dump because just don't. Okay? So.
But now you said something, people are gotta have to look at it.
Not if they have epilepsy, because they just fucking kill them.
What
I'm not
have
kidding.
you done?
So, I guess that's recommendations done. What are we at?
I would count that as, yes.
Hour 55? I think we can call it here. Yes?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Alright, so, once again, thank you for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast, episode 41. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do so through the Blogspot page, the comments, or our own personal profiles on fanfiction.net, or through the YouTube channel through the comments. Once again, I'd like to thank you for listening to the Fandom Flux Podcast, episode 41. Bye now.
Bye.